Okay, assalamualaikum, greetings to everyone. Okay, so this is week 5, right? So we're gonna look at two topics, the ones from last week and this week. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the first one on week 4, which is developing introductory paragraph in comparison and contrast essay. For this topic, we're going to focus on the components of an introductory paragraph of a compare and contrast essay. All right, so we're going to look at the thesis statement, and then in the topic of language, we're going to look at tenses and subject-verb agreement. Okay, for this week's topic, we're gonna look at we're gonna look at a new one, right, on the body paragraph of a comparison and contrast essay. All right, so just now we are on the last stages of your introductory paragraph. Okay, so this week kita akan mulakan topik baru, a new topic on body paragraph, which is we're going to talk about the topic sentence. Okay, what is a topic sentence? And here we're going to talk about how the topic sentence is used to state the similarities. Okay, and we're going to talk about supporting sentences as well as the language components, which are comparison signal words. Okay, what are the words that you would use when writing this essay to indicate that this is a comparison and contrast essay or a comparison paragraph? And then also we're going to learn on how to write comparative sentences. Okay, all right, so remember let me show you this one. Okay, remember, we have two types of structure for comparison and contrast essay. However, we are going to focus on block organization instead of point by point organization because it's much easier. Okay, remember, in a block organization, you will organize the similarities and differences in not in one paragraph. What I mean is, the similarities will be discussed in one paragraph and the differences in another. So it's much easier. All right. So that's why when you looked at this part just now, we are just going to focus on the similarities part. Okay. So do not get yourself confused. This is just to focus on the similarities, how to state your similarities, how to write or use comparison signal words. So we're just talking about similarities in the first body paragraph. The differences will come in the next or the second body paragraph. So as we go along later, please do not get yourself confused. Alright, yang ini hanyalah untuk similarities, only for similarities. Okay, so anyway, now let's go to the first one. Okay, so let's look at the final part of an introductory paragraph for a comparison and contrast essay, which is the thesis statement. All right, so what is a thesis statement? A thesis statement is an important component, very important, in an introductory paragraph of a compare and contrast essay. All right, okay, if you look at activity 1 here, it's asking you, what is the purpose of a thesis statement in a compare and contrast essay? So what's the purpose? Purpose of a thesis statement means why do you need a thesis statement? Why does it have to be in your introductory paragraph? What is its function? Okay, so a thesis statement, all right, states the main idea of the whole essay. Okay, so that's why you need a thesis statement, because you want to tell your readers, all right, this is your main idea. This is what they should focus on. All right. Okay, and thesis statement should always be the last sentence of your introductory paragraph. Kena ayat yang terakhir, the last one. So in a comparison and contrast essay, the thesis statement will also compare the two subjects. Remember, what are the two subjects? Okay, the two components or the two things that you want to compare. For example, you want to compare car A and car B. And those are what we consider as two subjects. Okay, and then these subjects can be either things, ideas, or people. Up to you. What do you want to compare? All right, but make sure the topic that you choose, like I said, are academic in nature, right? Okay, next. So, okay, remember, a thesis statement is the one sentence that states the main idea of the whole essay. So make sure it's only one statement. It's not going to be two or three, only one sentence. And it will be the last sentence of your introductory paragraph. Okay, so here is where you need to sort of give a preview or a sneak peek of the two subjects that you want to compare and contrast. All right. Okay, next. And then it is asking you what are some of the characteristics of an effective compare and contrast essay. Maksudnya apa yang kena ada? What do you have to have in your thesis statement to make it effective? Okay, first one, like I said, tadi ada cakap, you have to state what are your two subjects. Okay, yang ini semua compulsory. The 3 points that you see here are all compulsory. You have to make sure that you mention or you state what are the two subjects that you want to compare and contrast. Okay, next, you have to discuss the points of comparison. Later on, I'll be using POC in reference to points of comparison. Okay, so anyway, what are your POCs? Maksudnya apa yang kamu nak compare between the two? So you have to have at least, okay, at least you have to have two. Okay, one for similarity and one for differences. All right, so for example, if you want to compare between two phones, for example, iPhone 13 dengan Samsung S22, so what is your points of comparison? What is the, what is it that you want to compare and contrast between the two subjects? So perhaps in terms of similarity, you want to compare, for example saja, for example, you want to compare the battery life. You want to compare the battery life, for example. That one falls under similarity. Okay, you're done for similarity. And next, you have to state the difference, the points of comparison for difference. So apa yang kamu nak compare? Perhaps you want to talk about the functionality. So at least 1 point for similarity and 1 point for differences. Okay, and last but not least, you have to make sure that you have a transition signal to connect the ideas. Transition signals are used as indicators or as the name mentioned here, signals to indicate to your your readers that you are now trying to do this. You are now trying to do that. So people can see clearly with the use of transition signals. Later on, we'll learn more about this. What are transition signals? What are the examples of transition signals? And what are the specific function? Meaning, for example, if you say in addition. So in addition has a rather specific task, has a rather specific function, which is to say to the reader that this is your other idea, some other idea that you want to add to the point. Say you say in addition. If you say in contrast or apa lagi ya? On the other hand, however, those are the kind of transition signals that you use to indicate a contradicting idea. Okay, idea yang berlawanan, ideas that are opposite to one another, and that is the function of those kind of transition signals. So that's why you have to know what kind of transition signals should you use, okay, in a certain context sorry, or situation. Okay, all right, next. So let's look at activity number 3. Okay, below are some examples of thesis statements for a compare and contrast essays. So it wants you to underline and label the subjects, yang mana subject, and then underline and label the points of comparison that will be discussed. All right. So points of comparison, like I said, one for similarity and one for difference. Similar like the part A of your task 1. Remember, you have two parts, right? Okay, part A is where you decide what are your subjects, what are your points of comparison. So you have to mention in the thesis statement straight away. You jangan tunggu dekat body paragraph baru cakap, or you wait until you get to the body paragraph and then you state your point of comparison. You can't. You have to mention it straight away in your thesis statement. Remember. Okay, next. It wants you to underline and label the transition signal. Okay. All right. So here, this is an example given. While. Okay. So while is also an example of a transition signal. Okay. And then high school and college. So these are the two subjects that you want to compare and contrast. Maksudnya kamu nak compare, you want to compare and contrast high school with college or and college. And then these are your subjects are similar in terms of studying process. And this one, similar in terms of the studying process is point of comparison 1. I'll just write it here, P1. Okay, this is point of comparison 1. And then they have different environment, P2. So here it has already clearly stated similar means this is for body paragraph number 1, where you only talk about the similarities in terms of what? Oh, the studying process. Okay, next you talk about the differences, and it has already mentioned clearly what type of differences are you talking about here? Oh, environment. So this will be further discussed in body paragraph number 2. So when you write your thesis statement later on, this is how your thesis statement should look like. It's simple yet effective. All right. So make sure all of these 3 components are there. The transition signal, the subjects, and the points of comparison P1 and P2. Okay. So let's look at the first one here. It says, although authoritative and permissive parenting styles have a similarity. So you highlight already. Ini kita jumpa dah perkataan satu. This is a transition signal. This is also a transition signal. In a way, it indicates to your readers. Okay, this one is talking about similarity. Or this one is talking about, for example, this one, complete opposite, is talking about differences. All right. Okay, so let's see. Where is the transition signal? The main transition signal here. Although, all right, although is the main transition signal here. So I'll underline this. This is a T. Next, authoritative and permissive parenting styles. I think you can see that clearly. What are they? And these are the 2 subjects. Inilah yang 2 subject that you want to compare and contrast. So I'll underline this. So these are the 2 subjects. Oops, sorry. Okay, next, have a similarity where parents who practice the parenting styles are responsive. So what is this? Okay, this is P1. All right, similarity where parents who practice the parenting styles are responsive. This is P1. Okay, I'll highlight this. P1. And then these parenting styles are complete opposite. Very clearly mentioned that complete opposite. So you know that this is P2. Okay, what is P2? Oh, setting up rule. So this is your point. Okay. All right. So anyway, I'll just highlight this. And this is point of comparison 2. Okay. All right. So next, Coke and Pepsi share the same nutritional content, but the advertising approach is different. Okay. So if you look at sentence number 2, it's shorter than the first one. So it's up to you really. It doesn't mean to say that, oh, you have to write a long thesis statement, or you cannot write a short thesis statement, or you need to write a short thesis statement. No, it's up to you. However, you make sure all of the three components are there. Wajib ada. It must be there, compulsory. So you have to make sure that the transition signal is there, the subjects are there, and the points of comparison are also there. And then you can consider your thesis statement to be complete and effective. And another thing that I would like to remind you is that, okay, as you can see from the example and in question number 1, you can see that the transition is almost always written the first part of the sentence or the first word of the sentence, but it's not necessarily gonna be the case for all of your thesis statement, because your transition signal can also be in the middle part like this one. And this is a transition signal. So it doesn't always have to be at the beginning of your sentence, but it also can be in the middle part of your sentence as well. Depends on how you want to write your thesis statement. So there's no rigid way to do this. It's up to you. Okay, so this is your transition signal. Okay, next. Coke and Pepsi, very clearly, what are they? Okay, this is the subjects. Okay, so these are the subjects, sorry. These are the subjects, Coke and Pepsi, very clearly. S. Okay, next. Share the same nutritional content. So you know this one is about similarity. The way it's written is very clear. Share the same. That means this is similarity. So anyway, this is the point of comparison number 1. Okay, this is P1. So this will be further developed in which body paragraph? Body paragraph number 1. Okay, so remember, you have introductory paragraph, and then you have body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and last but not least is your concluding paragraph. Okay, so when I say P1, that means it also means to be written in paragraph 1. So in paragraph 1, when you're using block organization method, you have to talk about similarities only. Do not combine with differences. Okay. All right. Next, the advertising approach is different. Same. So this is also point of comparison. However, this is P2, which talks about differences. Okay. All right. So it's not that difficult. Yeah. It's just a matter of you understanding that you have to have all of these three components in order to write and practice thesis statement. So please remember. Okay, next. While many public and private schools have similar school administration, they differ in the aspect of funding. So as you can see in the examples given here, there are many different ways for you to write your thesis statement. So there's not only one way for you to do this. Okay, so for example, you want to put your transition signal in the beginning of the sentence, also can. You want to put it in the middle, also can, up to you. But always remember, the three components must always be there. If you're missing any one of the components, then your thesis statement is automatically incorrect. Okay, so anyway, where's the transition signal in this one? Okay, so we did this already. While, so this is the first transition, but this is the transition signal used in this sentence. So I'll highlight this. Okay, next, where are the subjects? Very easily there, public and private schools. Okay, so these are your subjects. Okay, subjects. Okay, next. Have similar school administration, very clear cut as well. So this is a very good example of a thesis statement. Okay, so whenever you're writing your thesis statement, please refer to this example so you do not go astray. Okay, so similar school administration. So this will be your P1. Okay, so you might be wondering, can I write about the differences first or what? Okay, So it's actually up to you, but normally and generally we would talk about the similarities first. All right, so that's why you see here we, we talk about the similarities first in the first body paragraph, and then we talk about the differences. So I prefer it if you talk about similarities first. All right, so I think it's more constructive and efficient that way. All right, so anyway, this is your P1, similar school administration. And next, differ in the aspect of funding, and this will be your P2. Okay, all right, so it's nothing really, it's not that difficult one. And remember, we're just discussing the first component, but the second component of a comparison and contrast essay. We're not even talking about body paragraphs and concluding paragraphs yet. So each type of paragraph, for example, we have three types. We have introductory, we have body, and we have concluding paragraphs. Okay, so all of these type of paragraph have different formatting. So this one, please take note. Yeah, most students they get this confused. They think that it's the same for all paragraph. No, this one is only for introductory paragraph. So when you get to body paragraph, as we will later, I will tell you more about body paragraph. Okay, you have to know that there is a different format for that. You will not follow the same one for this. Okay, please remember that. Okay, next, Hitler and Stalin were both powerful leaders, but they caused different impacts on World War II. So here, very clear cut, Hitler and Stalin is the other subjects. Okay, next, were both powerful leaders. Okay, this one is the point of comparison. P1, we talk about similarity. Okay, this is P1. Okay, next, but they caused, or I can use however here. Okay, if I say however, this is also a transition signal. It has the same function as but. So tadi kita dah guna but, then here we want to use however. No problem. Okay, so it's not something that, oh, I must use this only. I cannot use another transition signal. No, it's up to you. Just so long as you know the function of the transition signal that you're using. Okay, especially if you've taken LP2501. So I think you have you do know what transition signals are. Okay, so the most basic examples would be in addition, furthermore, moreover, on the other hand, in contrast. Okay, so anyway, however can also be used, and this is your transition signal. Okay, all right, so I'll highlight this. This is T. They cause different impacts. So this is your P2. Okay, so it is as easy as that. There's nothing difficult about it whatsoever. Okay, anyway, okay, so those are the three components. Okay, so I've been doing this over and over again, so I hope by now it's stuck in your head already, and now you know what are the three components that you need to have in your thesis statement. Subjects, points of comparison, P1 and P2, and one more is transition signal. Okay, so anyway, we're done about that. Now let's look at activity 4. Below are poorly written compare and contrast thesis statements. Let's try to identify why they are poorly written or why they are good. Okay, let's look at the first one. Living in an urban and rural area are similar in some ways, but different in others. What do you think? Is this okay or not? Can you write this type of thesis statement in your paper? You can't. Okay, why? Because this is not specified. I mean, you say are similar in some ways but different in others. So what do you mean by some ways? What do you mean by different in others? So you have to specify. You cannot just say it this way. This is unacceptable. So the reason why this is unacceptable, because the points of comparison are not specified. It is not mentioned in in details, like what do you mean by some ways, what do you mean by different in others. So how do you fix this? Okay, so like I said, the reason is the points of comparison are not specified because you simply say some ways and then you say different in others. This is not okay. So how do you correct this? And you can say, although living in a city and living in rural areas share similarities in terms of social structure. So this is more specified. So you mention lah apa yang sama tu, oh, social structure. And then they have different what? Cost of living. And this is clearer. This is more specified. So this is the one that you should write for your paper, not the one written in black font. Okay, next. If Plan A and Plan B offer inexpensive and good line reception with no binding contracts. Moreover, Plan B offers better value for the money for people who do not have a landline. So what do you think? Is this a thesis statement? Okay, clearly this is not a thesis statement. If you look at the transition signal also, it says moreover. You do not say moreover in a thesis statement. Moreover is when you are developing your paragraph. You want to add further information, you want to add some more or other information related to the first point that you have just made, and then you can use moreover, in addition, furthermore, etc., etc. But in a thesis statement, moreover is not acceptable. So this is not a good thesis statement. Okay, so what is a good thesis statement? Okay, so like I said, this is an inappropriate use of transition signal to show comparison. Do not use moreover. So how do you correct this? Perhaps you can say while plan A and plan B. So while is better instead of saying or using moreover. Okay, so while is a comparison and contrast transition signal. Okay, plan A and plan B, these are the two subjects, plan A and plan B, and then offer inexpensive good reception and no binding contracts. And this is your P1 about similarities. Okay, and then plan B offers better value for the money for people who do not have a landline. So you know plan A does not have this. So this is the second point of comparison, which is talking about differences. Okay, all right, so this is how you should write your thesis statement. Okay, next, let's look at number 3. Electric vehicles and biodiesel vehicles share some similarities as both have better fuel economy and energy security. So what do you think of this one? This is very clear cut. And this is unacceptable as well. Why? Yeah, it talks about similarities only. It doesn't have any components or parts where it says or talks about the differences. So this is unacceptable. You tak boleh cakap pasal similarity saja. You cannot just write about similarity or differences only. Both have to be in the thesis statement, not only either one. Okay, so how do you fix this? So like I said, the thesis is only about similarities. So how can you fix this? Perhaps you can say electric vehicles and biodiesel vehicles. So these are the subjects. Okay, offer environmental benefits such as better fuel economy and energy security. So this is P1, point of comparison 1. And then but, the differences lie in consumer appeal and cost. So but is the transition signal here, or however. Okay, and the differences lie in consumer appeal and cost. So this is P2, point of comparison number 2. Okay, so yeah, I think, right, it's safe to say that it's not a difficult topic. It's not difficult at all. You just have to, like I said many times already, you just have to know the three components that need to be in your thesis statement. If you're missing any one of it or either one, you please expect to lose a lot of marks. All right. Okay, next, let's look at question number 4. Coffee and tea seem to be very different, but they are quite similar in some ways. So this is also poorly written, very bad. Why? Same like case number 2 just now. The points of comparison are not specified, and it is written in two statements or two sentences. So in a thesis statement, preferably you only write it in one sentence. If you write it this way, you might get confused yourself. So we want to avoid that. So you can just write it in one sentence, but make sure ada dia punya apa nama division lah, right? Okay, so anyway, why this is wrong is because the points of comparison are not specified and there are no transition signal. Because instead of putting a transition signal, the author simply used a full stop or a period mark. So this is unacceptable. So how do you fix this? Okay, coffee and tea. So you know right away that these are the two subjects. Provide stimulation that can boost energy. This one is the similarity or P1. However, is the transition signal, and last but not least, they differ in the caffeine content. And this one is, of course, there's nothing else. All right, this is P2, point of comparison for differences. Okay. All right, next, last but not least, although online classes may require a great amount of work, they allow better flexibility. All right, so what do you think? What is wrong with this one? Okay, this one is not comparing two subjects. As you can see here, it says although online classes may require a great amount of work, they allow better flexibility. So here in the sentence, it only talks about online classes. It doesn't talk or it doesn't mention anything about traditional classes. So this is also unacceptable. All right. So how to fix this? We say, although both online and traditional classes, and this is better because you have the two components, the two subjects there instead of only one. Okay. All right. So online and traditional classes are the subjects, right? And then require a great amount of work. And this one is P1, which is point of comparison 1 that talks about similarity. And last but not least, online classes allow better flexibility than traditional classes. So if you want to say it this way, make sure dia ada comparison. Dia cakap, dan daripada traditional classes. Okay, and last but not least, we forgot to mention or identify which is the transition signal. Although, right, we did this already so many times. So although is your transition signal. Okay, all right, so it is as easy as this, nothing difficult really. Okay, all right, let's go to the next part. So here, it wants you to write a thesis statement. Okay, so I'm just gonna do one for you, and then topic 2 until 5. All right, I want you to complete it. Okay, all right, so anyway, I'll just do one for you. So understand the topic. Whenever you want to write your thesis statement or start with your introductory paragraph, first things first, you have to understand your own topic. If you don't understand your topic, how are you supposed to write a good paragraph? You understand? Okay, so understand your topic. Okay, what is the topic here? Similarities and differences of attending public school and home school. So the topic wants you to compare and contrast between public schools and home school. Okay, so when you write your thesis statement, remember what are the three components that you need to know? or you need to have in your thesis statement? So you have to have subjects, both subjects, not only one, both subjects, and then you have to have transition signal, and then you have to have, but transition signal here does not mean that, oh, any one of the transition signals will make do. No, the transition signal that you need to use here are the transition signals that are used for comparison and contrast essay, not the regular ones like in addition, moreover, furthermore. That one can be used in body paragraph. But for a thesis statement, for you to use moreover or furthermore is unacceptable. Please remember. So jangan guna. Okay? But you want to use it in your body paragraph, go ahead. Knock yourself out. Okay? But there, actually in the thesis statement, please remember no. Because most students, they forget. And then they think like, oh, I can just add whatever transition signal. So long as it's under the transition signal category, then I'm fine. I'm covered. No, it doesn't work that way. All right. So anyway, once you have understood the topic, you can start writing a thesis statement by indicating where are the subjects. Okay, public school and home school. So I'll highlight this. All right. So you have already understood what the subjects are. Now is the time for you to find what are the points of comparison that you want to, compare and contrast between the two. So remember, like I said, in part A of your task 1, you were supposed to identify the points of comparison kan, for your topic. That one is what you have to know when you want to write a thesis statement. Okay, so that's why we gave you those tables, so it's easier for you to, to go back or look back. Right. So anyway, you can say, although, oops. Okay, so this is my transition signal. I can use although public school and home school share similarity in terms of, okay, what is your point? Okay, and then you put your comma. Don't forget, when you use an although, okay, the sentence is has become dependent. All right, if you've taken LP 2501, I hope that you still remember this term, dependent, independent. So anyway, when you put this subordinate conjunction, when you put although, it becomes dependent. The sentence cannot stand on its own anymore. Okay, and for you to go and make it complete, make it able to stand on its own, you have to have another independent component or independent clause. All right. So for you to write the independent clause, kena ada comma. Jangan lupa. No comma will also cause you to lose marks. All right. So anyway, you can say, all right. So you don't have to repeat the word. Oh, although public school and home school share similarity in terms of Nanti cakap balik. Public school and home school are different in terms of those are redundant. You jangan ulang. You can just use a pronoun to replace the two terms, public school and home school. So you say they. Okay, so this is something that students often do as well. Okay, so anyway, you can say they are different in terms of. So say specifically, what do you mean by they are different? What do you mean by they are similar? State specifically what do you mean by those. Okay, and then you're done. So that is how you write your good thesis statement. Mula-mula make sure you have the subjects, and then transition signal can either be at the beginning of the sentence or the middle part of the sentence, but never at the last part of the sentence. Okay, and yeah, and then you cakap lah, share similarity in terms of what? Different in terms of what? Okay, done. So what I want you to do is to complete activity 5, topic 2 until 5. Okay, and then we will discuss this later. All right, so topic 2, topic 3, topic 4, topic 5, try writing your own thesis statement now. Okay, all right, so before we get to that, now let's talk about the next subtopic, which is under language. So the first component that we want to talk about or we want to look at is or are the tenses in English. All right, so in most of the other languages, okay, not all, especially like Malay, we don't have any tenses. We don't have any type of sentence or words to indicate this has happened in the past, this is happening in the future. We have, but it's not really specific like the one that we have in the English language. For example, if I say I have already eaten, biasanya in Malay sangat senang dia cakap dah makan, senang saja, but it's not really specific lah, alright. But the tenses in English, they are way more specific. So you need to know your tenses in order to be able to write proper paragraph or essay for that matter. So like I said, it is important for you to use the correct tenses in your essay or writing to make sure that your writing is clearer and people can understand it better. So for example, here we have different types of situation. So you have to determine what kind of tense or which tense would you use in this kind of situation. So this is very important. When you write, you have to indicate. You have to know the condition or the context of your writing and what kind of text should you use. If you're referring to something that happened in the past and it's not happening again, then you need to use simple past tense. If you're referring to something that is ongoing, something that is happening right now, then no, you can't use past tense anymore. You're gonna guna present tense. That's why you have to understand. Okay, so according to the situation given here, okay, all right, so here, a common knowledge, simple present tense. Common knowledge means something that everyone knows. Okay, something that everyone agrees on. Okay, semua orang tahu benda ni. For example, Kuala Lumpur is the capital city of Malaysia. So this is the common knowledge. You tak boleh cakap Kuala Lumpur was the capital city of Malaysia. If that is the case, then Kuala Lumpur is no longer the capital city, whatever. Alright, so yeah, that's why you use simple present tense. Next, what happened in an experiment? So the name, as the name suggests, it is an experiment. Something that you have already conducted for you to be able to, talk about the results. So what happened in an experiment should be discussed in simple past tense because you're talking about something that you have done, okay? All right, that you have completed in the past. Okay, next, ideas that were held in the past. Okay, this is very clear. Of course, you have to use simple past tense. Next, something that has changed over time. This is present perfect. Okay, present perfect is something like you did this in the past, all right, but it is still continuing today. For example, you enrolled as a student of UPM 3 years ago, for example. So right now, you're still a student at UPM. So this is something that has changed over time. For example, you were a first year student, and then you were a second year student, and now you're a third year student, etc. etc. So this is something that has changed over time, present perfect. So benda yang dah berlaku is something that happened in the past, but still continuing today, present perfect. Okay, next, someone's opinion. So someone's opinion needs to be simple present tense. Simple present tense. Why? Because that idea is valid right there. That person is voicing out the opinion that he believes right there and then. So ini kena guna simple present lah. You tak boleh guna simple past tense. You tak boleh guna you tak boleh guna future tense or present perfect tense. Okay? Alright, next. The results of an experiment, same thing. Okay, you must have conducted the experiment already to have gotten the results. So that means this is something that has been done. This is something that has been completed. Therefore, you need to use simple past tense. That's it. Okay, next, habitual action in the present. Habitual action means something that you do all the time. Every day you do this. For example, you like to take shower at 7 a.m. So this is something that you've been doing since you were in primary school, for example, until now you're at the university, you still like taking shower at 7 a.m. This is a habitual action. Or for example, you like to go jogging every morning, that is also a habitual action. So a habitual action is not going to be the same for everyone. For example, if you like to go jogging in the morning, I don't. So that's not a habit for me. So I won't be using simple present tense in my case. But for your case, you like to go jogging every morning and you use simple present tense. Okay? Or we Muslims, we pray every day and then you use simple present tense. Unless lah, you nak cakap, oh, I have already performed my subuh prayer. That one past tense lah. Sebab you dah buat solat subuh tu, you have already performed your subuh prayer, etc. etc. Okay, next, recent research and its present impact. Remember? Okay, so when we say research, it's almost always already been conducted. Orang dah buat research. Alright, although it says recent research means macam the research was conducted in 2020, 2019, something like that. Anyway, alright, so this research has been done in, for example, 2019, but the impact is still present today. Kesan dia masih lagi ada sekarang. So this is when you use present perfect tense. Okay, alright. Next, a theory. A theory is something that is valid. Okay, a theory is something that you always use. For example, you know, kalau you study certain subjects, there will be a certain theory that you have to follow, right? So this is something that will always be valid in your case lah. So you use simple present tense. So sesuatu yang you always have to rely on, something that is always true, that is always a fact, and you need to use simple present tense unless the theory has died. For example, the flat earth theory, okay, that one is no longer acceptable. We no longer believe that the earth is flat, and that kind of theory you tak boleh guna simple present tense lah, because we don't use that theory anymore. But if it's a theory that you still use today in your studies, then you use simple present tense. That's it. It's as simple as that for you. Okay, and mind you, there are actually a lot. There are many other tenses actually, not just this. But for your sake, okay, for the sake of this class and for you to be able to, you know, write accurately, these are the kind of tenses that you need to really focus on. Okay, all right. Next, a claim. A claim is something that has been made by someone. Okay, so this can be used. This needs to be written by. This needs to be written in simple past tense. Okay, and a fact. Okay, a fact ni, like I said lah, it's always gonna be true. For example, if I say Kuala Lumpur is the capital city of Malaysia, and that is correct. Sebab apa? Because that is a fact. Everyone will know that Kuala Lumpur is the capital city of Malaysia. Alright, there's no other city to take its place. This is a fact. Therefore, you have to use a simple present tense. So kalau kamu guna simple past tense, like I said, if you use Kuala Lumpur was the capital city of Malaysia, then that is wrong. Okay, kenapa? Sebab Kuala Lumpur is always going to be the capital city of Malaysia, insyaAllah. So, bila kamu guna past tense, that means to indicate that Kuala Lumpur is no longer the capital city of Malaysia. That's why you have to be careful with your tenses. All right, so understand the context before you choose your tenses. Okay, and please remember, this is an academic text, so you tak boleh tulis cincai-cincai. Tulis like you write it just so long as you write an essay. I know you have to make sure that all of these criteria are met. Okay. All right, next. Now let's look at next one. Fill in the blanks with the correct tenses. Is this simple present? Is this simple past? Is this present perfect? Okay, let's just read it first. So it wants you to identify lah, okay, the correct tenses. What should you say here? For example, the COVID crisis, is it made? So which one? or this one. Okay, kalau kamu jumpa perkataan ni, if you see this word be, it does not mean that you have to change this from be to being. No, be here refers to is, are, was, were, am. Remember, when you see this word be, this is to be verb. Dia daripada perkataan, it's from the phrase to be verb. T-O-B, bukan T-O-B-E lah. Maksudnya dua perkataan, T-O and then B-E verb. Alright. So when you see this, it means either is, are, was, were, or am, depending on the context. Alright. And then this one, okay, plan. So is it who plans, plan, or planned? And this one, is it present, presents, or presented? So you have to identify. Okay. Anyway, the COVID crisis, blank space, people to work from home, so all the learning activities had to take place online. So when you read or when you are writing your own paragraph later, please understand the context. Okay, how do you want to deliver the message to your readers? Okay, so that's why you have to think carefully. What kind of tenses should you use? And another thing about the paragraph in English is that, okay, say you plan to use present tense. That's okay, no problem. However, there will be certain times or certain context where you have to use another tense in the same paragraph. So you have to understand lah kat mana nak kena guna simple present tense, yang mana yang kamu kena guna simple past or present perfect. So it always depends on the context. Alright, so anyway, let's see. Okay, so this one is present perfect. The COVID crisis has made. Kenapa saya kata present perfect? Because this happens in the past. All right, so this has happened in the past. I think it happened in 2019. Okay, this is 2022, and we are still facing the COVID-19 crisis today, even though this happened like 3 years ago. So that's why you use present perfect, because the impact of COVID-19, even though it happened in like 3 years ago, is still here today. So please remember, okay, itu kita gunakan present perfect. Okay, next. Online learning takes place over the internet and is a form of distance learning. Okay, why do we say is? Because we're still using online learning today. Like right now, we're using online learning. This is not a thing of the past. So sebab itulah kamu guna simple present tense, is. If you say was here, that means online learning is obsolete. We don't use online learning anymore. That's why, please be careful with your tenses. Okay, next. Okay, content can be delivered as text, images, and video. And features could include online assessment or interactive activities. Traditional learning occurs in a classroom with a teacher who plans and presents. And this one is simple present tense. Why? Look at here. Okay, usually, all right, if here is using simple present tense, usually, not all the time, then all of your other verbs in the same sentence will be in the same tense. So here it's using present tense. So this one, present tense juga lah. And you have to also know whether this is agreeing to the subject or not. Remember, subject verb agreement. Okay, if you've taken LP 2501, you've learned that as well. Subject verb agreement. So if it's a singular subject, then you have to use singular verb. Kalau singular verb, dia ada suffix s. It has the suffix. Ni suffix kita panggil ni. Okay, tambahan huruf, I think. Okay, suffix s. Suffix s, because the subject, this is the subject, is singular. If it's a plural subject, then you remove the suffix s. That's it. Okay, so benda senang. It's simple. It's not that difficult. It's not rocket science. However, students tend to overlook these things, and when they lose a lot of marks, they question why, and this is why. Simple things that you overlook. Okay. Okay. So make sure when you write, okay, focus on the type of tense that you want to use depending on the context of the situation. And also the most basic thing, another basic thing is that you have to focus on the SVA, subject verb agreement. Okay, anyway, the teacher can use various educational tools such as introducing information on chalk or whiteboard, student presentation, etc., etc., class quizzes, informal assessments, and homework assignments can be set. Okay, all right, next. Okay, next is about both online learning and traditional learning need students to use study materials. These students typically, okay, so if you look at the first one, you'll notice that this is written in present perfect. Is a present perfect, like present, simple present tense. Okay, so usually, okay, most part of the sentence will be in the same tense. However, there will be a certain condition where you have talking present past, sorry, present past, but present perfect or simple past tense as well, depending on the situation. Okay, so I cannot stress this enough. Okay, next. So both learning, the online learning and traditional learning students, these students typically have. Kenapa kita guna have? Sebab ini ditulis dalam sorry, dalam simple present tense. Okay. Alright, next. Textbooks used are the same for both types of learning. So there is no discrepancy in content. Okay, so is not are. Okay, next. Smith 2020 identified that whether online classes or traditional physical settings, students will be assigned homework to complete. And this one, if you still remember from your LP 2541 classes, this is what we call as an in-text citation. So when you write, okay, this is something that I want. You have to refer to credible and academic sources as well. You cannot just rely on your own personal experiences or personal observation about the issue. You have to have, what do you call this? Supporting points or evidence from credible sources as well. So this is it. This is what we call as in-text citation, where you refer to other people's work, all right, by using the last name. If it's an English name, then we use the last name. If it's a Malay or Indian name or Chinese name similar, it's a Chinese name, not last name. Chinese name is the first name. For example, Lee Chong Wei. So Lee is the name that you put here. All right. If it's a Malay name, then you have to write the name in full. If it's an Indian name, then lose the AP. AP is anak perempuan, or the DO, daughter of, or SO, son of. Okay, so lose them and just write them together. For example, the name is Kencana, daughter of Mutusami. So the daughter of part is where you omit. You simply just say Kencana Mutusami. So which year of publication? So this year, okay, ni bukan suka-suka. This is not a random year. This is the year where you got the paper. I mean, when was the paper published? When was the paper published? Then you write it. And another thing about referring to outside sources is that please remember to find the most recent research first. Okay, that means go 10 years back first. Do not immediately go to 1970s research, 1960s, 1950s research, because those are, I can say, most of the time outdated already. It means the research is no longer valid because there will be other research done on the same topic. So the one done in 1950 to 1970 will be outdated unless the theory that you're looking at is only one theory and nobody else has ever done a research on it anymore. And that's the only research that people have, worked on. For example, it was done in 1970. And that is the only research on that topic. There's no more research after that. And then you can use the 1971, but tu je yang ada. That's the only one that you can find. However, if we're talking about other theories that are constantly changing, then go 10 years back. Find the most recent research first. And then if you can't find anything within the 10-year gap or the 10-year period, then you go back another 10 years. That is how you find your credible sources or academic sources online. And please remember, never ever refer to Wikipedia or Quora or any other forum or site, sorry, or site on the internet that uses like a platform where they ask questions and then random people can just go in and answer that question for them. I know that is not a good site or a platform for you to refer to. Okay, all right, next. Lepas tu, this one, like traditional courses, students are expected to do a series of reading and writing assessments relevant to the course they have enrolled in. Kenapa kita tak cakap they enrolled in? Why do we say they have enrolled in? This is present perfect, yeah? So why can't we use simple past tense here? Okay, so if you use, sorry. If you use past tense, for example, relevant to the course they enrolled in, that means they're no longer, okay, probably they're not students anymore. Then you can use simple past tense because they're not students anymore. They're not in the university anymore. Then you can use simple past tense. If they are still students, you're talking about current students, okay, you haven't graduated yet, then you have to use present perfect tense. It's as simple as that. Okay? Sebab apa? It's still ongoing. You are still a student here. Even though you enrolled in 2019, but you're still a student here right now. So that that entails a present perfect tense. That's it. Okay? All right, next. Although there is a similarity in study materials, online learning and traditional learning are different in terms of flexibility. A traditional learning takes place in simple present tense, and then the teacher has given the students a timetable. This is present perfect, and then this one. Okay, the students will have missed the teacher's lesson if they did not attend the class. Okay, so this is past tense. And then this time dependency makes the traditional education approach difficult, and the online learning approach provides much needed flexibility. Students can log into a course at any time of the day and complete the course content. So this is present perfect tense, etc., etc. And then Watson 2020 found that. So kenapa? Why do we use past tense here? Because this research has been conducted already. Remember? If it's talking about what happened in an experiment or research or the findings of a research, results of a research, you can guna past tense because it's already been done. And this means online learning has offered the flexibility for students who have full-time jobs, etc., etc. Okay. All right. Next. Now let's talk about subject-verb agreement. Later on, I'm going to show you a video. All right, so that you have a clearer understanding of what subject-verb agreement is all about and tenses as well. So here it wants you to identify the 10 subject-verb agreement error. This one is pretty easy, I think. All right, so we'll just do this together. Oops, sorry. Okay, so like I said, there are 10 subject-verb agreement errors here. All right. Okay, sorry, okay, this one. So although the function of formal and informal communication are, so as you can see, are is wrong. Why is it wrong? Because we're not looking at formal and informal communication. The subject here is the word function, bukan yang ini. So do not get yourself confused. So this is wrong. I'll just highlight this in red. This is wrong. So this should be is. Okay, next. They differ in the purpose of use. Formal communication channels are those channels which is. This is another mistake. You don't say is, tapi ini adalah are. Okay, I'll highlight this as well. Okay, next. Flow in an organization. Usually, this communication channel are. Another wrong. Another mistake here. This is not are, tetapi is. Why? Sorry. Bukan. This one. These communication channels. It should be channels are ataupun this one. This communication channel is. It should be is. All right. So anyway, I'll just highlight this. Should be is. Okay. Anyway, included within the job descriptions of individual employees and general standard procedures of a business. The management is responsible for timely and accurate implementation of formal communication channels for smooth running of its organizations. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so if you don't want to fix this into these, so this should be these communication channels are. Ataupun kalau saya tukar tadi DHIS dan these communication channel is. Okay, so but it has to, you have to understand the context lah. All right, so I think I made a mistake here. You should just change here channels. And this is, you don't have to change this. Apologies. So you just say these communication channels are. Okay, are. All right, next. Lepas tu, the management is responsible for timely and accurate implementation of formal communication channels for smooth running of its organization. Okay, bukan organizations. Organization. Next, although informal communication channels exist. Kenapa exist? This is plural. So plural means plural verb. Okay, in every organization, they are not officially used. They serve as a medium, etc. Besides that, formal communication channels are. Kenapa? This is a plural subject. Okay, developed to regulate the day-to-day operational activities for a business. Larger businesses recruit special officers or personnel, And then on the other hand, informal communication channels are unofficial and are again. Why? Because these are plural. Okay, and then of an organization use this channel. Employees. This is the subject. Okay, use. And then also called where formal communication often follows a specific structure or channel, such as email to the client, whereas informal communication can often flow freely in any direction. So follows. All right. Okay, so I'm going to show you this video on subject-verb agreement, and then later, before we finish class, I'll show you another video on the tenses. All right, but remember, for the sake of this class, the three major tenses that you need to focus on are simple present, simple past tenses, and present perfect. Okay, so anyway, let's learn about subject-verb agreement so that you have a clearer understanding.
I could say she is a nice person, but I wouldn't say she are a nice person. I might say we are nice people, but I would never say we is nice people. This is called subject-verb agreement. Basically, if the subject is a singular noun, you use a singular verb. If the subject is a plural noun, you use a plural verb. Seems simple enough, right? But there are several tricky situations where you may not be sure if the subject is singular or plural. Let's figure those out. Your subject might be composed of more than one noun or pronoun. If the words are connected by and, use a plural verb. For example, Susan and I are playing tennis tomorrow. We would say Susan is playing tennis tomorrow, or I am playing tennis tomorrow, because those are singular subjects, so they take singular verbs. However, the combination Susan and I is plural, so we use a plural verb, are. But if the words are connected by or nor, use a singular verb. Neither Susan nor her mother enjoys running. Here, the subject is the word neither, which is singular, so we use a singular verb, enjoys. If you take out the phrase Susan nor her mother, you get the sentence neither enjoys running, which is correct. A little trick is to mentally say to yourself, neither one. Neither one enjoys running. That gives a subject-verb agreement. There are other words like neither that always call for a singular verb. These include anybody, anyone, each, either, everybody, everyone, nobody, no one, somebody, and someone. Did someone say something? Is somebody here? No, it's no one. Nobody's here. Everybody left me all alone. Singular. Often, the subject of your sentence is some distance from the verb. This can lead to confusion if your subject is singular, but there is a clause with something plural in it before the verb. For example, Mason, along with his brothers, goes fishing every weekend. If you take out the phrase along with his brothers, you'll find the sentence is Mason goes fishing every weekend. Don't let that plural word brothers fool you. That's not the subject of the sentence. When in doubt, take out a pen and circle the subject and the verb to make it extra clear. They need to agree. What about when the subject follows the verb? The same rules apply, you just have to be careful. For example, there are many trees in the forest. The subject is trees, which is plural, so we use a plural verb, are. This is a rule that many people break in casual language, saying things like, "Where's my keys?" instead of "Where are my keys?" But we know the second version is correct. A plural subject calls for a plural verb. Let's talk about some special cases. Even though you're only wearing one pair of pants, this is a plural noun. Same with trousers and jeans. My jeans are dark blue. Your trousers match your sweater. We use plural verbs to agree with these plural nouns. Same goes for a pair of scissors. My scissors are very sharp. There's another type of noun that is kind of the opposite. These are called collective nouns, and although this kind of noun is really about more than one person, you treat it as a singular noun, and so it takes a singular verb. Family, for example. My family is large. Team is another one. The team is celebrating its victory. You might think the word police is a collective noun, but no, we treat it as a plural. The police are conducting investigations.
Okay, so the video was talking about the rules of subject-verb agreements that you need to know. All right. So anyway, I'll show you the video about the tenses later. Now let's talk about the next topic. Okay, so the next topic will be on body paragraph. Remember? Okay, just now we were talking about thesis statement for an introductory paragraph. Okay, so do not get yourself confused because right now we want to move on to the next topic. So the next topic is about developing body paragraph. Okay, tadi just now introductory paragraph, thesis statement, and this one body paragraph. Okay, so in a body paragraph, it has a different formatting altogether. I mean, it has different components that you need to focus on. All right. Okay, so the first component that is the most important is called topic sentence. So the topic sentence in your essay, in this comparison and contrast essay, is used to state the similarities. All right. So remember, because we're using block organization, therefore, your first paragraph is going to talk about similarities only. Do not go and include differences in the same paragraph. No. Your differences or your POC for differences will be in the second paragraph, not this one. Okay, sorry, the second body paragraph, not this one. Okay, and then we talk about the language as well. Okay, so here we want to identify the comparison signal words and also writing comparative sentences. All right, so how or what kind of words do you use in order to say or show your readers that you are comparing something? And this is what we're going to learn in this class, right? So anyway, so what is a body paragraph? Okay, so a body paragraph is a group of related sentences about one particular topic. So that means your body paragraph will only focus on one main idea. And in this case, because you're writing a comparison and contrast essay, then you are going to focus on similarities only. All right, for the first body paragraph. Okay, next, because essays are composed of multiple body paragraphs, now writing and organizing good paragraph is one of the most important aspects of creating a well-organized and developed essay. But in your case, you only have to worry about two body paragraphs, one for similarity and another one for differences, and then you can go ahead to the concluding paragraph. That's it. So all in all, you are just writing one essay with 4 paragraphs. So I hope, okay, that doesn't scare you. All right. So anyway, if you look at activity 1, it wants you to list the 3 components of a body paragraph. So remember, in introductory paragraph, we have different components. Kalau body paragraph, lain pula component. You have different components there. Okay, what are the 3 components? We talked about the first one tadi kan. So the first one is topic, sentence. All right. So what is the second component? The second component are supporting sentences. And the third components are supporting details. But as you can see here in the body paragraph, you don't have any thesis statement anymore. So that's why I say the components for introductory paragraph or body paragraph or concluding paragraph, they are all different. So please do not get yourself confused. Okay, I cannot stress this enough because students, my students from previous semesters, they often do the same mistake. They think that, oh, all of the paragraph have the same formatting. All of the paragraph has the same components. No, they do not. Please remember, yeah. So in a body paragraph, again, you have topic sentence, you have supporting sentences, and you have supporting details. So topic sentence, as the name suggests, only one sentence. Okay, satu sahaja, only one. Supporting sentences, on the other hand, ada more lah. Okay, it cannot be only one. And then supporting details. Okay, supporting details, I'll just explain it briefly. They are, something that you include to make sure that your argument is more credible and valid. So supporting details are often like examples, statistics, etc., etc. So they provide additional proof or evidence or supporting point to support your claims just now. Okay, all right. Okay, next. So what are the criteria of a good topic sentence to state the similarities? Okay, remember kita nak bercakap pasal similarities. So what are the criteria? So number 1, you have to have the comparison signal word. So this is similar like transition signal. It's the same thing lah, transition signal. But this one is to focus more on similarities. Okay. And then, of course, you have to mention the topic. And last but not least are the controlling. If it is the controlling idea, what is the point of comparison that you want to discuss in this paragraph? Okay, remember, we're talking about topic sentence sahaja. In this class, in this week's topic, we're just going to focus on topic sentence only. The supporting sentences, supporting details will be covered in our next classes. Okay. Anyway, next. So activity 3 wants you to identify the components of the topic sentences below. So it wants you to underline the topic, highlight the controlling ideas, what are the points of comparison, and double underline the comparison signal word. So let's see. Okay, so number 1, the sentence is, okay, this is topic sentence. The similarity between Domino's and Pizza Hut is the variety of pizzas they are offering. Okay, so therefore, all right, this is a good example of a topic sentence because in this topic sentence, although it's quite short, it's only one line, but you can see all of the required components. For example, the first one. The first one, it says similarity. So ini kita panggil sebagai comparison signal word. Okay, so comparison signal word here means that the word that you use to indicate, oh, ini adalah similarity. For example, you can say share or similar or similarity or the same. And those are all comparison signal words that you can use. All right. So here in this sentence, the comparison signal word is similarity. And then you have the subjects as well. You have Domino's and Pizza Hut. So these are the subjects. Okay. All right. And then variety of pizza. So variety of pizza is called the controlling idea. Okay. Controlling idea. Maksudnya ini yang kamu nak compare, which is the variety of pizzas they are offering. All right. Okay. Next. Singapore and Trinidad are alike as they are multiracial countries. So again, you have the topic. Topic ni samalah macam dia punya subjects, right? So this is your topic, Singapore and Trinidad. All right. This is your topic, and then the word, the comparison signal word is alike. So alike, samalah maksud dia macam similarity, similar, same, share. Those are all similar in meaning. So alike can also be used as comparison signal word for similarity. And then multiracial country is the point of comparison. So this is the this is the component that you want to compare with the two countries, Singapore and Trinidad. Okay, the next one. Public schools and private schools have a trait in common as these schools follow a certain curriculum set by the relevant education authorities. So where is the topic? Public schools and private schools. This is your topic, or in layman's terms, subjects. These are the two subjects that you want to compare and contrast. But here, you just want to compare. Anyway, in common. You can also use in common to show that this is showing similarity. This is your comparison signal word, okay? Next, as these schools follow a certain curriculum set by the relevant education authorities is the point of comparison. Then, okay? Next, both great white sharks and bull sharks have similar trait as they are good hunters. So in this case, you have two comparison signal words. They are both and similar. So whenever you see these words later, or these phrases, for example, in common, alike, similarity, both, similar, and these are all of the words that you might want to use in your topic sentence for the first body paragraph that discusses on similarities. Okay, all right. So where is the topic? White sharks and bull sharks. Where is the point of comparison? Good hunters. So you're saying that both white sharks and bull sharks are great or good hunters. So this is your similarity. So later on, when you continue to write your essay, you provide proof to support your claim, as you said that white sharks and bull sharks are good hunters. So provide more evidence, provide more details. Okay. All right. Next. Oops. Okay, next. Okay, activity number 4, it wants you to read the sentences below, topic sentences below, and decide whether they are acceptable or unacceptable. Okay, let's see. Both traditional medicine and modern medicine have many similarities. So what do you think? Acceptable or unacceptable? Okay, so this is unacceptable. Remember what we discussed in our previous lesson? You have to make sure that you specify, okay? Specify specifically what the similarities are, ataupun apa similarity between traditional medicine and modern medicine. Then you can consider your topic sentence to be complete. If you simply say have many similarities, this is unacceptable. So I'll just write capital U here. U means unacceptable. Okay. So anyway, why? Remember why? Because it didn't mention what are the similarities all about. You kena mention. You tak boleh cakap macam remember. Alright? Okay, next. You cannot use this. So anyway, next. Oops, sorry. Okay, next. Like modern medicine, traditional medicine is used to treat many diseases. So what do you think? Like modern medicine, traditional medicine is used to treat many diseases. What do you think? This is acceptable because why? You're saying specifically, although you say oh many diseases, this is okay lah. Sebab the main idea is there because you're saying modern medicine and traditional medicine have the same function where they can be used to treat many diseases. So this is acceptable because you mentioned clearly what the similarities are. Okay, next. Traditional medicine and modern medicine have been practiced by many in almost all countries. Okay, so this one is unacceptable. Why? Sebab apa? This is not a topic sentence. If you read it carefully, you'll notice that this is vague. Vague means unclear. And this is just a general statement. This is not a topic sentence. Remember, a topic sentence have to have these components. Dia kena ada comparison signal word, kena ada topic sentence and controlling idea or point of comparison. What do you want to compare between the two? So for example, if you want to compare the variety of pizzas between Domino's and Pizza Hut, so the variety of pizzas is your point of comparison for similarity. Okay? All right, next. With the improvement of present-day innovation, traditional medicine has improved as far as modern medicine. Okay, kenapa this is unacceptable? Because there's no comparison signal word to introduce the similarities. This is just a general statement. This is not a topic sentence. You do not write your topic sentence this way. Okay? All right. So anyway, next. Traditional medicine is a growing trend for patients to discover different forms of self-care. This is this is clearly unacceptable because why? There is no comparison whatsoever with the other subject, and you're just talking about the traditional medicine. There's no mention of modern medicine anywhere. So this is unacceptable. All right. Okay, so do not write your topic sentence this way. Okay, next. Okay, activity 5. It wants you to construct the topic sentences that state the similarities according to the essay topics below. Okay, this one, I want you to complete it. Okay, remember dalam apa tadi? Class material week 4, I want you to complete, I forgot, later I'll show you again. Okay, anyway, okay, in week 4, you have one exercise that you have to complete. And in class material week 5 also, you have one more to complete, which is activity 5. Okay, anyway, I'll do the first one for you. So you have to complete 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Okay. The topic given is similarities and differences between being employed and self-employed. So first things first, identify the components that need to be in your topic sentence. So what are the topic? Where is the topic? Okay, this one, being employed and self-employed. So I'll just highlight this first. Being employed and self-employed is the topic. This one. Okay, next, similarities and differences. So yang ini, you don't want to talk about differences yet. Remember, we're just focusing on the first body paragraph. Therefore, we just want to look at similarities. Anyway, how do you write? This is the example of how you write. This is a good example. Anyway, you can just say something like, okay, the similarity between being employed and self-employed. Employed are. So you bagi tahu lah what are the similarity or what is the similarity between being employed and self-employed. So you have 3 components. Okay, so you have the word or the signal word for similarity there, And then you have the topic being employed and self-employed, and then the dot 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 part is your POC. So go and find out what is your POC. All right, I don't know, I don't want to just write things here because this is not something that I can just cook up or something that I can just make up. Okay, this is something that you have to do a research on. So anyway, this is your POC for similarity. I'll just write it here so that you can see clearly. Similarity done. Okay, all right. So the other three exercises here, or the other three questions here, I want you to complete it on your own. Okay, all right. Okay, let me stop sharing for a while. Okay, let's go to activity 6. Now, following are body paragraphs without a topic sentence, and it wants you to write a topic sentence that states the similarities based on the given essay's topic and body paragraph. Okay, so let's see. Topic number 1. It says the comparison between private schools and public schools. So this is how your topic sentence should look like. Kenapa? First things first, identify what is the topic. And then determine what kind of comparison signal word do you want to use. And then determine your POC. So if you look at your supporting sentences here, you will be able to find your POC, which is child safety. Where can I find this? In the second sentence of the body paragraph, because usually in the second sentence of a body paragraph for comparison and contrast essay, we call them as supporting sentences. So in the second sentence, you will see what the point is all about. So it says here, both schools apply stringent rules and security measures to maintain a safe learning environment. So you know it has something to do with security and safety. So your topic sentence should be based on that as well. So you can say something like both. So this is my comparison signal word. I say both private and public schools have the child safety on top of their list of priorities. So what I'm doing here is that I am just paraphrasing from the second sentence. You know, paraphrasing, if taken with LPE 2501, you would know what paraphrasing is. So paraphrasing means I am just changing the structure of the sentence. I'm changing the word order. I'm changing the sentence structure so that it looks different, but the meaning stays the same. All right. So that's how you should do with your work, actually, with your topic sentence as well. Sorry, not your topic sentence, your writing as well. Okay, there will be some part where you will have to do a paraphrased text. For example, this one. If you are referring to other people's work, such as this one, Schneider, then you cannot just copy and paste from the person's work onto your paper, and that will be plagiarism. So you have to paraphrase. What is paraphrase? Simply changing the sentence structure or rewriting it in a different way in order to deliver the same meaning. But if you copy and paste, like I said, you will be considered as plagiarizing, and plagiarism will give you a 0. Okay, so don't mess around with plagiarism. Anyway, yeah, topic sentence. It's not that difficult. Just understand the components that needs to be there, and you are all set. Okay. All right. Next. So I want you to complete activity 5, question 2, 3, and 4, and as well as activity 6, 2, and 3. Okay. So please look at the topic sentence. Look at the topic. Understand what is the topic. Okay. Lepas tu refer to the supporting sentences, and then you will be able to write your topic sentences. Okay. Anyway, I want you to complete activity 5 again, question number 2, 3, and 4, and then go to activity 6, complete topic 2 and 3. Write your topic sentences there. All right. Okay, next, let's go to the next part, supporting sentences and comparison signal words. Okay, so supporting sentences in a body paragraph are used to support, explain, illustrate, or provide evidence for the idea expressed in the topic sentence. Maksudnya seolah-olah macam awak buat claim. So when you do a claim or when you make a claim, you will have to defend that claim, or you will have to provide evidence to support that claim. All right. So comparison signal words are important in a compare and contrast essay. And there are several signal words that can be used in supporting sentences to connect the ideas better. All right. Okay, next. Now let's look at activity 7. It wants you to read the body paragraphs below and identify the components of a body paragraph. Okay, and then identify also the comparison signal words found in the body paragraphs. Okay, so this is body paragraph number 1. So where is the topic sentence? Where are the topic sentences? And which one is the comparison signal, or which ones are the comparison signal words? Okay, so the topic is similarities and differences between Washington and London. So as you can see here, all right, this is a complete body paragraph for a comparison contrast essay. So all of the components are there. You just have to identify where are they. All right. Okay, so let me stop sharing file. All right. Sorry, let me share screen. Okay, so here, all right. Okay, we'll just read it briefly. Both Washington and London offer a wide array of museums. The cities have Smithsonian Gallery, which is the world's largest museum, education and research complex, with 19 museums and National Zoological Park. The Smithsonian's collections document the nation's history and heritage and represent the world's natural and cultural diversity. According to Smithsonian, okay, this is another in-text citation. When you write later on, this is what I want to see from you. Kena ada in-text citation to show that you have done your research and this is not something that you made up. Okay. Anyway, etc. etc. Lepas tu, Washington National Art Gallery of Art is just like London. The National Gallery of Art, one of the world's prominent. This is prominent museums, preserves, collects, exhibits, and fosters the understanding of works of art at the highest possible museum and scholarly standards. The gallery's collection includes some of 141,000 paintings, drawings, prints, photographs, sculpture, decorative arts, etc., etc. So here, okay, let's try to identify where is the topic sentence. Yeah, topics. This is sentence 1. Okay, like I said, dia punya structure senang saja. First things first, kena ada topic sentence. So whenever you write a body paragraph or comparison and contrast essay, remember that the first sentence of your body paragraph will be a topic sentence. It cannot be any other way. Topic sentence dulu. Okay, after your topic sentence is done, remember only one topic sentence, and then you have supporting sentences. And in your supporting sentences will be supporting details as well. Okay, the supporting sentences are just, they are the explanation or the elaboration. For example, I say like this is my claim. I say car A is better than car B. That is my claim. So when I go to the next part, I will start giving my explanation why I say car A is better than car B. So I say lah, oh, car A has better fuel consumption, engine capacity, etc., etc. And that is my explanation. Then when I get to the supporting details, and I have to provide my evidence why I say car A has better engine capacity or fuel consumption. And that is how it works. First, you make your claim and then explain why do you say so, and then explain some more by giving explanations, but by giving examples. So these examples need to come from credible sources. So for example, you've done your research, you are an engineering student, or for example, you want to talk about the engine capacity or fuel consumption, go and do your research. Okay, why do you say car A has better this and that. Kenapa? What does the research say about this? That is your supporting details. But don't worry, we'll talk more about that in our next classes. For now, let's just focus on the topic sentence. Okay. Anyway, so from the essay also, you can find a number of comparison signal words. So bila saya kata comparison, that means you're talking about similarity. Ya. Do not get confused dengan differences. Yang itu kita tak sentuh lagi. Okay. So the comparison signal words that you might see here are both, in addition, just like. Okay. All right. Next. Sorry. So your topic is the similarities and differences between American and Japanese fast food. So, like I said, where is the topic sentence? It will be at the first sentence. Okay, first sentence dia wajib jadi topic sentence. You tak boleh tulis supporting sentence. You cannot have your supporting sentences or supporting details first. You can't. It must be topic sentence, especially at your level. Alright, you do not want to confuse yourself. Anyway, if you look at sentence number 1, why do I say this? That this is a topic sentence? Okay, let's see. American and Japanese fast foods are both similar in that they are convenient. Okay, it's very short, but it's concise. It's packed with the components that we want. So we have the topic here, American and Japanese fast foods. These are the topic. This is the topic or subjects lah. In your case, subjects, American and Japanese fast foods. And then we have the comparison signal word, both similar. These are the comparison signal word. And then you have the POC. Apa itu POC? What is POC? Points of comparison. So bila saya kata point of comparison, only take the one under similarity because we are working on one paragraph alone. You do not go and include the one from differences here. No, the one on differences, the POC for differences will be in the second paragraph, second body paragraph. Okay, so I cannot stress this enough. Please do not do the same mistake. Okay. Anyway, so topic sentence is sentence number 1, and then the rest are supporting sentences. So the sentences 2 until 9 are a combination of explanation, elaboration, or supporting sentence plus supporting details. Remember the formula. Supporting sentences means you give explanation, you give elaboration on your claim. All right. Supporting details is where you provide further evidence to back your claim up. Okay, it's like you going to court. If you are a lawyer, and then you have to make a claim first to defend your client lah. For example, okay, you say, my client is not guilty of the charges presented, something like that. So if you want to prove that your client is not guilty, you have to provide evidence similar to this essay as well. You kena ada evidence. Kenapa kamu kata A, kenapa kamu kata B. Okay, alright, next. What are the contrast signal words? Okay, here the contrast signal, sorry, this is not contrast. This is compare signal words. Okay, so compare signal words are both similar, moreover, not only, but also. Okay, so kenapa saya kata moreover dekat sini boleh pakai? Tadi dekat thesis statement tak boleh pakai. Okay. Thesis statement is not where you elaborate or explain your ideas. So that's why you tak boleh guna moreover, you can't use furthermore, you cannot use in addition, additionally, no. Why? Because in thesis statement is not the place where you explain or elaborate your points. But in a body paragraph, yes, that is where you elaborate or you explain your points in greater detail. And yes, you can use moreover. And why does it fall under compare signal words? Kerana when you say moreover, when you say furthermore, that means you're adding information under the same topic. All right. Okay, next. Now let's look at body paragraph number 3. So the topic is similarities and differences between Apple and Microsoft. Okay, again, as you can see here, topic sentence is sentence number 1. So sentence number 1 says both Apple and Microsoft create digital media products. It's a very short sentence, but it's concise. So what I'm trying to say here is that it doesn't mean that you have to write long sentences to make it clearer or complete. No, it doesn't work that way. Okay, at this stage, at this level, all you have to understand is that make sure all the components are there. So it can either be short or long. All right, it can either be short or long, it doesn't matter. But if the components are all there, then the sentence is complete already. That's it. All right. So as you can see here, we have all of the three components. You have the apa nama ni, comparison signal word, both, and then you have the subjects or the topic, Apple and Microsoft, and then you have the POC, the point of comparison here, which says create digital media products. Okay, all right. So anyway, like I said, the topic sentence is sentence number 1, and the supporting sentences are sentence 2 until 10, which is a combination of supporting sentences and supporting details. And comparison signal words are both, in addition, also. If I say however, can I say however in this paragraph for similarity? It's not preferable that you use, it's not advisable for you to use however or but in contrast or on the other hand here, because here is all about similarity, and for you to use contrasting signal word is not quite acceptable. Okay, so please take that into consideration when you write your paper. Sorry. Now let's look at activity 8. Okay, so activity 8 wants to complete the following body paragraphs with suitable comparison signal words. Okay, yang ini senang saja. It wants you to identify what kind of comparison signal words. And like I said, in the English language, you have many types of signal words or transition signal words, many. However, you have to remember, these transition signal words, they have different function. They have different categories. Like for example, in addition or moreover is not in the same category as however and but. Sebab apa? In addition, moreover is more on you adding similar information. However, but or in contrast is something that you use to indicate contradicting ideas. So you have to understand the function, and I'm sure you would know this, even if you've never heard of it before, and this is the first time that you are learning about this. I'm sure that you are smart students and you will figure it out. Okay, sebab you tahu lah terus lah bila saya cakap however dia dah nampak dah. This is a contradicting word and it should not be in a comparison paragraph ataupun your paragraph that talks about similarity. Okay. Anyway, let's get back to our discussion just now. Okay, so here you can say one similarity. Okay, it depends on you really. It doesn't matter. This is just an exercise for you to know more about the kind of comparison signal words that you might want to use in your own writing. So you can say one similarity or similarly or just like. Okay, so all of these comparison signal words have the same function. So, and there are many as well. You boleh cakap share, you boleh cakap apa lagi? Same, alike. So those are the comparison signal words you might use for this paragraph. Okay, next, or you can say this one, just like Facebook or similar to Facebook. Okay, Twitter also has a typical offering. So you boleh cakap juga likewise. Okay, this is also a comparison signal word. What else? Okay, next. Okay, number 3, the childhoods of Adolf Hitler and Joseph Stalin are similar. You can say similar, you can say like, you can say both, you can say similarly. So benda ni you don't have to memorize. You don't have to memorize. It's something that can comes to you macam naturally. Okay, when you write, you will know this naturally. Okay. All right. So let's see the next activity. So here it wants you to identify. Okay, Let's see, activity 9. Activity 9 here, using the points given below, write a topic sentence and supporting sentences to compare the subjects using comparison signal words to state the similarities. Okay, this one I want you to complete as well, but I'll do the first one for you. Okay, so the topic is similarities and differences between home schools and public schools. Okay, what is the point of comparison? Oh, ini yang dia nak compare, yang dia nak bandingkan. Standardized curriculum. Okay, so usually when we compare things, they will be the same thing lah. That's why you see two similar points here. And in your part A of task 1 should look like this as well. So identify what are the supporting points for homeschools and public schools, and they are usually the same. Okay, standardized test, online resources. All right. So tadi I asked you to do activity 5, activity 6, and now activity 9. So I'll do the first one for you, okay, with you, and then you will complete for me number 2 and number 3. All right, and we'll discuss this later. Okay, so let's try the first one. Okay, so this is very clear. You dah ada point of comparison, you dah ada supporting points, you dah ada the subject. So there's no reason for you not to be able to write this topic sentence. Okay, so anyway, apa nama dia cakap? The compare subject using comparison. Okay, so you can say something like, okay, what are the subjects? Home schools and public school. So this is 2. So you can say things like both home and homeschools and public schools share similarity in terms of are similar in terms in their standardized curriculum. Okay, so this is how you write your topic sentence. As easy as that. Both home schools and public schools are similar in their standardized curriculum. Or you can say like this, are similar sounds of share similarity in terms of their standardized curriculum. Done. So that is how you write your okay. So or you can say something like this: home schools and public schools are similar as they are using a standardized curriculum set by the country. And this is much more complete. But this one is also okay if you want to use. Okay. Alright, so senang saja. It's not that difficult for me because you have all of the materials here already. You have all of the components here already. It's just a matter of you rewriting it in your own way of how would you write your topic sentence. Okay. All right, so I have done the first one for you. Now I want you to complete the rest. Okay, essay topic 2, 3, and 4, and then we'll discuss this in our next class. Okay, so just complete activity 5, 6, and activity 9 from class material week 5, and then another one from here. I think I asked you to complete activity. Okay, this one I've done it for you. Not this one. Oh, not this one as well. Which one? Oh yeah, activity 3. So complete activity 3 from class material week 4. All right, activity 3 from class material week 4. The first one has been done for you. So you just have to complete 2, 3, and 4. And then you go over to class material. Oops. Okay. You go over to class material week 5 and complete activity 5, 6, and 9. All of the first questions have been